Alright, I got cut off. Anyway, hi everybody. Thank you for swimming home with me. Just got done putting in that 8 hours. And I guess it's, even though I'm going over the speed limit, DC shit some more. Because it's important that people know that when on this fucking horse shit, you got some kids in MAGA hats. For those of you living under a rock, MAGA means Make America Great Again. Not Make America White Again, not Make America Racist Again, or any of that other shit. It's a campaign slogan that Trump came up with for his successful 2016 presidential campaign. And nothing else. I'm with her is a sexist slogan. It wasn't all-encompassing. Okay? So let's get that straight. But the kids, and they are kids, they're just high school kids, standing there waiting for their bus, were harassed by grown fucking adults who were spewing some of the most hateful fucking shit I've heard ever. I mean, besides the shit that people say to me. Okay? So you had some black Israelites there, and for those of you that don't know who they are, it's just some fucking twisted hate group that runs around spewing hateful shit. Okay, they're anti-gay and anti-America and anti-white and anti-everything else. Right? Because they're idiots. If you're a racist, I don't like you. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to like you. And like I said, I don't really believe in racism. I just believe in hatred. But I use that word to describe what it is, so that people can understand what I'm saying. These idiots are sitting there screaming and hollering at these kids simply because they were wearing a hat that they don't like. And then you had the Native American, march or fucking assembly, whatever the hell they want to call it. They were there too. And you had some hateful fucking Native Americans there telling these white kids to go back to Europe. Now just picture, if you will, a bunch of fucking white kids screaming at blacks to go back to Africa, or screaming at Native Americans to go back to the reservation. That would be fucked up too. Not only that, but it'd be on the news constantly, fucking 24 hours a day. These are grown fucking adults harassing children. And the news outlets didn't even give a fuck about checking into any of this shit. They just grabbed the story and ran with it. Just like they did with the bullshit BuzzFeed story. Not realizing that there was hours and hours of footage of these kids getting fucked with. I think for kids, they handled the situation more like adults than the adults handled the situation. Where's the LGBTQ? Where are they at? These guys were saying some of the most hateful shit about gay people, but I don't see the LGBTQ coming out and condemning them, right? I don't see other Native Americans coming out and condemning this fucking asshole that was beating a drum in some kid's face, and the other one screaming for these kids to go back to Europe. That is not fucking Native American. That is not the Native American way of doing shit. Now, I'm quarter Native American, and I'm going to tell you something right now. That guy been beating a drum in my face like that, that drumstick would be up his ass, and he'd be wearing that drum as a necklace. because I'm not as kind and understanding as those kids that were sitting there enduring that bullshit. This is the kind of fucking crap that we've allowed to fester in our society. And this is the bigotry of low expectations. Well, they don't know any better, so let's let them just do whatever the fuck they want kind of attitude. It's so fucking bad, man. And yet, where were the police at? The chaperones that were with those kids really didn't do shit to help them out. And the diocese fucking threw these kids under the bus immediately. Without even knowing what the facts of the story were, they were already ready to throw these kids to the fucking wolves in a meat grinder. When the fuck did these assholes become such cowards? They made me want to puke. You're supposed to stand behind these kids and say, no, they didn't do anything wrong. You investigate first and say, look, we looked at the videos and we saw that they didn't do shit wrong. Fuck you. And I still am waiting for the Archdiocese or any Catholic organization to come out and say, fuck them. Our kids didn't do shit wrong. You guys are a bunch of fucking assholes. And the news organizations that covered this the way they did, those people need to be brought up on criminal charges of endangering these kids' lives. And all of you Hollywood fucking shits who are out there saying that they need to be doxxed like Kathy Griffin, you belong in prison for endangering these kids' lives, inciting violence. It's always amazing to me that these people are always talking about inclusion and anti-bullying shit, and they're the biggest fucking bullies in the world. They are the most hateful bigots and racists there are. But they're always pointing their fingers at other people. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sick of seeing it. They're like, let's call up the colleges that these apply to and make sure they can't go to college. What the fuck, man? Ain't you got nothing better to do? And I hope these colleges don't fall for this shit. Of course, then again, you know, they're all communist cesspools now. So they probably will. Even though they didn't do anything wrong, just by standing there and doing nothing, they did something wrong. And they interviewed this Native American Vietnam vet. Now all of a sudden the left cares about veterans. They didn't give a shit about veterans before, but now, since it suits their purpose, they care. We care about all you little goofballs. No, they don't. This guy went to Vietnam. He must have been the biggest pussy in Vietnam ever. Because a fucking hat upset him. I blame the mainstream media for creating this fucking mess. Because it has been non-stop bullshit from them for the last 2 years. And I blame the Democratic Party. Because also with them, it's been non-stop bullshit for the last 2 years. Non-stop. Yet when they're wrong about something, they never apologize and they never say, we were wrong. Or if they do admit they're wrong, but it's still their fault somehow. Well, yeah, we was wrong, but they're still racist. That kind of shit, right? They can't say, look, we were wrong and we're sorry about that. We're sorry about, any pain or, inconvenience we might have caused you. No, they don't do that. I think a lot of Americans are waking up to this fact, you know, and we as Americans, I don't give a fuck what color you are, where you came from. You black, white, Chinese, Korean, Mexican, Latino, and, who the fuck gives a shit about any of that? There's blacks and Mexicans and Latinos and people from Asian countries. They're fucking sick of it too. And you guys need to leave comments. You guys need to, speak out and say, we're not with these assholes. Because, this is nothing more than visceral hatred at this point. Hatred for hate's sake. People aren't outraged that a bunch of grown adults were picking on high school kids. No, the high school kids are fucking dicks. How dare those racist motherfuckers support our president and believe that abortion is bad. Those motherfuckers. And to point out something else, you are creating your own fucking worst nightmare. Because you think these kids are going to go on with their lives and fucking forget about this shit happening to them. Fuck no. Especially if it follows them for years and years to come now. Because, when it comes to the left, they want people to forget about their past. Okay? Especially the Democratic Party. They want to forget about the whole Civil War thing. And they want to forget about, their involvement, in creating the KKK. They want to forget about their fact that the Democrats were for Jim Crow, that they were against any legislation for civil rights. Let's forget all that. But you know what? If you're on the right or conservative and you do something wrong, that shit has to stick with you for the rest of your life. And the news media, ha ha ha, I laugh at it because it's a joke. They're like, we're real journalists. First of all, if you're a real journalist, you shouldn't have to say you're a real journalist. Real journalists would find out what the fuck the facts are first, and then explain the story in an objective way, not from one side or the other. They would just present the facts of what happened and let people make up their own mind. But they don't do that. Now, do they? They grab a story as quick as they can and throw it out there, even though they don't have all the information. And when they do make a retraction, it's disingenuous. It's basically a disingenuous brush off. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, who the fuck cares, yeah, we're sorry, whatever. That's the extent of their apologies. They're insincere. By any stretch of the imagination, they're insincere. It's a joke. No idea why in the hell people even bother watching them anymore. I mean, they say that, like, CNN gets 1 million views or some shit, per show or some crap. I don't know how they get these numbers. But every time I go to the hospital, or I have to take my mom to the doctor, that's what the fuck's on their TV. So I can only imagine that the only reason they get the ratings they do is because of cable television. That's why I always encourage people to cut the fucking cord and stop paying a subscription to TV, because all you're paying for is commercials and fake news. Donald Trump was right about the fake news thing. It is fake. It's like they say what they want you to hear. If it was objective, then fine. I can live with that. Even if it goes against what I think I believe. If they just presented facts, I'd be good with it. But I've known for a long time that the news is a bunch of bullshit. That's why I couldn't stand watching it. Even when I was a kid, I really couldn't articulate what it was about the news that I didn't like. But I knew I didn't like it. I mean, when are we going to start holding anybody accountable for spewing racist, hateful shit? I hate to tell you, if you're black or some other race besides white, and you do that shit, hate to tell you, it's still being a racist. And yes, you can be racist. To say that another group of people on the planet can't be racist because of the color of their skin, that in and of itself is a racist statement. It's fucking bullshit. As adults, we should be fucking talking through our problems and not just spewing fucking hate at everybody. I gotta be honest with you. It's just like I have a younger sister that I don't like all that much. And she always making, and she's a liberal, of course. And she goes, you hate me, you hate me. And I say, no, I love you. You're my sister. I just hate the shit you do. See, there's a difference. I love my fellow Americans, but some of them do shit that I can't stand. And this is one of them. You want equal rights, and everybody wants their rights under the Constitution, then let everybody have their rights under the Constitution. That also includes wearing a MAGA hat. Those guys that were spewing all that anti-gay, anti-white shit and intimidating those guys should be brought up on charges for inciting racial violence and anti-gay rhetoric, according to the left's rule book. That Indian guy should be brought up on charges of assault because she got in that guy's face and was banging a drum and screaming at him, according to the left. Because had those kids did that shit to them, they'd be in jail. But like I always say, I'm a staunch proponent of the First Amendment and the Constitution as a whole. People have the right to say whatever fucking crap comes out of their mouth. I don't like the shit they say. They have the right to say it, though. What bothers me is the double standard, as usual. And this Native American guy that was on CNN, I was going to cry, I was so scared. Yeah, you look so scared. Big fucking tough Vietnam vet intimidating a bunch of high school kids. Because you're a punk. And if you are part of a tribe, they should fucking turn their backs on you right now. Because you made all of them look like assholes. You know, First Nation people should not be behaving in that manner. I'm sure that a lot of them think they have an axe to grind, but they don't. My grandmother never talked about shit like that. Ever. Okay? She's pure Cherokee Indian. She never talked about that shit. And this was, 40 years ago. She never ran around telling white people to go back to Europe. The fuck kind of shit is that? But first of all, a lot of me might be white, but I sure as hell don't want to go back to Europe because Europe's fucked up. They fucked that all up. I don't want to go over there. I was born here. I'm also a native to America because I was fucking born here. That's what that means. And even Native Americans aren't native to America. You guys came over here on a fucking ice bridge. Wish people would stop whining about all this identity bullshit. For all intents and purposes, I'm mud. I'm made of all kinds of shit. I don't sit around thinking about it constantly all day, every fucking day. Like, how can I use my identity to get over on society? No, my dad and my grandparents and shit just said, look, you gotta work. As a man, you gotta work and you gotta work hard. Life's gonna kick you in the fucking balls sometime, but you gotta get up, take a deep breath, suck it up, and fucking move on. But every time I see these people, it's like, I just keep thinking about what losers they must be to pick on some fucking teenage kids. That's, I would say it's a new low for the left, and that I've seen it all, but guaranteed that they're going to fucking do something else in the near future that's going to even be worse. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I live here in Michigan, and I grew up in Detroit. There was a lot of different opinions. But you know what? When shit went down, we were all Americans, and we were all fucking together. And we could vehemently disagree with each other. Even to the point where at times it came to fisticuffs and shit. And after that shit was done, we would have some beers, and all was fucking forgiven. Because that's how real men fucking took care of shit back then. But nowadays, it's nothing but word salad and identity politics. Fucking assholes can get on TV and talk for 20 minutes and not make any fucking sense whatsoever. And people will clap because they're so fucking stupid. They don't realize that that dude just didn't say shit. Or that woman didn't say a fucking thing worth listening to. I'm at the point now where when anybody brings up shit like slavery or anything else, I just fucking turn my back on them and walk away. Because at that point, it's like, okay, there's no point talking to this asshole because they're just using, historical crap to justify their fucking bullshit behavior now. When it had nothing to do with them to begin with. Yes, are there fucking people in this country that are pieces of shit? Yes, of course there is. But you know what, man? I'm going to defend their right to be assholes. If they want to be assholes and racist pieces of shit, there's nothing we can do about it. We can tell them it's wrong and just leave it at that. But to go out of your way to ruin their lives and shit, that's just Stalin shit. That's commie socialist crap. I'm not down with that. I believe that people can fucking wake up one day and realize they made a mistake. And there's a lot of them out there, right? There's dudes that, I used to be like that. I used to be like that. But they fucking realize that that's not the way to be, and they turn their fucking life around. They're not, if all you want to do is destroy these people's lives and make their lives hell, they're just going to reinforce their fucking hatred for you. I'm not saying you have to be best buddies with them. When I was in high school, we knew who the assholes were, and we didn't hang out with them, right? And I can run into them years later, and they're completely different fucking people. Because they realize that being that way, of course, there's people that run into me and they still think I'm an asshole because I haven't changed. Because I've always been a fact-based individual. I always look at facts first. My feelings are irrelevant. I gotta honestly tell you, my old man taught me that shit. One of the very few things he was right about as far as I'm concerned. And my mom, even though she's kind of leans to the left, I still love her. I love my mom deeply. She leans to the left, but she always told me the same thing. She's still a fact-based liberal. She's like the blue dog Democrat. No, I want to know what the facts are first, and then I'll make up my mind. So my parents taught me to go with the facts and go with my gut if only necessary. If I'm in a dangerous situation, go with your gut. But other than that, deal with facts only. I mean, this is not Trump's America. This is the liberal elite's America. All they want to do is keep each other they want to keep everybody at each other's throats. And that's not a way to live, man. It's like I work with all kinds of folks from all over the world, man, and we get along just fine. We laugh and joke and poke fun, and we get along just fine. But then you got these losers out there in the streets, because it's their job, to just sit there and bitch and scream and holler about dumb shit nobody gives a fuck about. And it's constant all the time. It's like they canceled the Women's March in California because it was going to be too white. That right there should send up red flags to everybody that has half a brain. I mean, does anybody even give a shit that high school children were being picked on by grown adults, threatened by grown adults, vilified in the media, and nobody seems to give a fuck? Well, they're white, they're conservative, and they support the president, so they must be pieces of shit. That's fucked up, man. And I don't want anybody treating any group of fucking people like that. Even the black Israelites, I almost feel sorry for them. Because I could not imagine living my life with that level of hatred. I mean, it's just basically, like I said, it's just hate for hate's sake. I feel bad for people who actually believe that kind of shit. Because their lives are going to suck. They're going to suck so bad at life. I mean, it'd just be the same way, anybody, KKK members or any of that. Their lives are going to suck too. And they're going to miss out on all kinds of cool shit because they're so busy fucking hating on people. It makes no sense, man. Anyway, follow me on Twitter at Shark of Truth. I'm going to tell you something, man. When the news starts reporting the news and getting the facts straight, I'll give them some kudos. Okay? I'll give credit where credit's due. But they really need to get their stories straight. And you really got to stop with all this visceral hatred, doxing, telling people, death threats. I mean, that's not no joke, man. Got to stop